I'm so excited for Rock the Country. 9 massive shows bringing country and rock legends to your hometown, featuring your co-headliners Kid Rock and Nickelback, and so much more. Get passes and full details at rockthecountry.com. Puddle of Mudd vocalist Wes Scantlin is speaking out after another disastrous performance. This time, he is offering up an explanation for what he says went wrong. Now, this is unfortunately the latest in a laundry list of issues that Scantlin has faced both on stage and off for more than a decade. Now, I've been a fan of Puddle of Mudd for my entire life since Come Clean came out, Control, Blurry, Drift and Die, and everything that came after. I've truly enjoyed, and then throughout the early and mid 2000s, something changed, and I saw a lot of great shows from Puddle of Mudd. They were kind of in their superstar era with the song Famous and Psycho being massive hits, if you can remember just how big of a band they were at that time. And then around the late 2000s, I started seeing sloppier performances from Puddle of Mudd, and I remember being at a show, and he was talking to the crowd, and he said he was in Florida, but we were watching him in Virginia. He was a little confused, and then after that, the shows just got worse and worse, and around 2012, 2013, things really took a dive, and since then, you know, there have been some times of stability, but mostly not, and it makes me truly sad because I'm a true fan of Puddle of Mudd, and I would love to see Wes get on the right track. It's been really heartbreaking for me to watch this. So this is a little bit of a recap of the things that Wes has been through. Quite frankly, it's a shocking and exhaustive list of the things that he's been dealing with over the last decade or more. For many years now, Puddle of Mudd vocalist Wes Scantlin has unfortunately struggled on stage and off. A lot of this started to happen back in 2012 when he was arrested in Culver City, California, for cocaine possession and driving under the influence. He was arrested that same year in September for public intoxication, allegedly causing a disturbance on a flight from Boston to Los Angeles, which led to an emergency landing. Then in 2013, he was arrested 3 times, including on domestic violence charges, as well as felony vandalism in July of that year, allegedly using a buzzsaw to destroy property on his neighbor's patio. In 2014, Scantlin had an onstage meltdown, throwing a microphone and beer into the crowd. The situation worsened in 2015 when he was arrested at Denver International Airport after taking a joyride on a baggage carousel. Later that same year in July, he was arrested for getting into a high-speed chase with police exceeding 100 miles an hour. Those charges were later dropped. It was around this time where he became fixated on a property that was taken from him in a foreclosure, and so he was arrested in January of 2016 for vandalism after attempting to re-enter this foreclosed property. He had also made a rant on stage about it, saying they're stealing his house, accusing a member of the audience of being involved. Then you have a 2-hour standoff in 2016 with 30 armed police officers at his LA area home. And that, unfortunately, was not the only time he was in a police standoff. Now, around 2017, Wes started to clean his act up, and he had, several years of sobriety, it seemed. But then, unfortunately, in early 2023, the arrest continued when he, again, showed up at his former home, taken by foreclosure, and he refused to leave when he was asked. And then, sadly, in August of last year, he was pulled over on a traffic stop. They found he had an active warrant, and he refused to leave the vehicle. This led to a SWAT standoff. They used pepper spray and pepper ball rounds from the SWAT team, and they eventually brought him into custody. Now, through much of the last decade, Wes Scantlin had the same band with him performing on stage, and they would, at times when Wes would be putting on really bad performances or he seemed out of it, the band would just walk off stage and leave him behind. They wouldn't co-sign on that behavior. And then in late 2023, he had booked a show at the Machine Shop. The venue spoke out against Wes. They said they'll never let him play there again because he canceled. And, I guess they accused him of being unreliable. Wes, in turn, came out and said he was firing his entire team. Around that time, it seems he's replaced the band with an entire new group of musicians. Now, this is relevant because of the show in Daytona where things went so poorly, Wes talks about a former bandmate when he's kind of confronted by a fan after this disastrous show. The Machine Shop said at the time, "This is 100% Wes. The Machine Shop is banned and everyone involved are very disappointed. We will not be postponing the shows as we are not ever rescheduling Puddle of Mudd." For his part, Wes accused his own management of booking shows without his consent. So now, as Puddle of Mudd were scheduled to perform at Bike Week down in Daytona Beach, it's a very, very popular week where a lot of people go down there, have a great time, great music, and this was a show intended to be for a good cause. It was free entry, and spectators of this performance were speaking out in the comments of the venue, saying they even felt bad for Wes's band. And, you know, again, I've seen instances even in the last couple of years with Wes just getting mad, blaming the sound guy, and just storming off stage, abruptly ending the show. The fans in attendance were unhappy. It's just such a bummer to see things go down this way. But this is what happened. This is what the fans are saying about that performance over the weekend on Saturday night in Daytona Beach. Concert goers sounded off in the comments of the Broken Spoke Saloon's post about the show. One fan wrote, "I feel bad for the band to have to play such good instruments while Wes just stumbled and rambled about Fred Durst on stage. Good work. Amazing performance put on everyone but Wes." This attendee said, "I'm so glad that was a free show. I'd be pissed if I spent my money to see that terrible show. We left after 4 songs. When the band trashed the opening song and the singer kept joking about it, I knew it was going to be a shit show." Broken Spoke Saloon themselves said they will no longer be inviting Puddle of Mudd back to their venue after the disastrous performance. This fan said, "What generosity Wes has is all for a great cause and all that. But unfortunately, it's overshadowed once again by his blatant and continued lack of respect for himself, bandmates, venues, and fans. And he comes back to Daytona for the second time in almost 10 years and makes a mockery out of his own gig. It's obvious that rehab doesn't work for him yet. As a repeat offender, it's not even a shame anymore. Gotta find a better way. Man, you're running out of chances. Get humble instead of humiliated, dude." And the venue themselves replied, saying, "Well said. We believe in second chances. We at the Broken Spoke do our best to bring good, strong bands for free concerts. We were very disappointed in Wes's performance. They will not be back to our venue." And obviously, it's a disappointment for the concert venue who put on this free show. Somebody had to have paid for that entertainment, and so big disappointment there. Now, Wes was actually confronted outside of the venue the following day. He responded and he said that he sucks, and it was just kind of a very odd, awkward exchange as he's walking away. And he had an interesting explanation for what exactly led to this disastrous show. And so before we play this video, I just want to say, as soon as I pull it up, he just looks f***ed up in the video. I mean, it's sad. You look at his eyes. It's just sad. Here it is. So this is from cashforharleyparts.com, and they caught up with Wes outside of this venue and got somewhat of an explanation from him about all of this.
The great Wes Scantlin from Puddle of Mudd. We're at the Broken Spoke. He performed last night, and Wes told us about the show last night.
I suck, and I suck, but I was roofied.
He was roofied. It wasn't Wes's fault.
My old bass player, Sean Salmon, roofied me last night.
And he's on his A game
So he
today.
can go his ass.
He's going to do a great show. The next show we're going to be at. Love you, Wes.
Where's he going? So as you can see there from the performance, it was a mess, and the explanation he provides is even more odd. And I think that, he says, I suck. I think his voice has had issues over the years in recent years, and he's kind of struggling with that as well. I think it's something that frustrates him a lot. I've seen at a show, as I mentioned, that, he kind of will go off on the sound guy, like, the sound is messed up, whatever, but you can hear his vocal cords having issues, as we saw with that past Sirius XM performance. This is not a condemnation of Wes Scantlin. This happens to the best of them, years and years of prolonged vocal use. You can have issues with your voice, and rather than, possibly using substances and things like that are going to make your voice even worse, a healthy diet and regimen and lifestyle, if anything's going to heal your voice, that's going to do it. And so I think it's just a bunch of issues at the same time happening with him that just cause him to spiral. And it's very sad. I just really wish that he can get on the right track. I'm a big fan of Wes. I would love to see him turn things around. And I don't think that seems likely right now at this point, unfortunately. Anyways, that's your latest update here from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for the latest news and updates.